Liverpool versus everybody. Late night. If you're up, come talk to me. If you're not, enjoy the rest of your sleep or whatever you're doing. Back to talk about Liverpool. Why? Because I can't stop talking about Liverpool. Can't stop thinking about Liverpool. A few topics I want to talk about. There's an article on the Anfield Index. If you're not down with that, Anfield Index is a place where you can get podcasts, you can read stories, some pretty good writings. Also, there's an article titled "Virgil van Dijk is overrated." That's not what I'm saying. This guy named Hamza Lunat, I think his name is, wrote an article. And I heard the podcast earlier, and it compelled me to come on here and talk about it. And while on that statement, you'd say this guy is deluded, he's crazy, and is he really a Liverpool fan? Um, when I first heard it, I thought, wow, overrated. Okay, okay. And so I haven't read the article yet. I plan on it, but I listened to the podcast, and I want you guys to check it out yourself, either the podcast or the actual article that was written. But just to summarize, he basically is saying that he thinks Van Dyke gets a lot of hype, whereas he makes mistakes just like Lovren does, just like Moreno does, just like any football player does. But yet, because he's Van Dyke and he's kind of this guy who's coming and done pretty well, then he doesn't really get any stick for it. And also, he has a problem with them people comparing him to Yam Stamp, um, Maldini, I think our own Liverpool Al Hansen, and the like, the best center backs in the world. People are comparing him to them, or even putting him in the same conversation, same sentence, same breath as those guys seem to bother him. So here's my thing. There's some remarks that he made that I understand, um, because obviously Van Dijk makes mistakes. I mean, every football there's no player who's immune from making mistakes. Everyone does it. The best of them do it. Messi, Ronaldo, whoever. Everyone makes mistakes. Um, for me, it's the amount of mistakes you make and how it affects games. There are times again where Van Dijk hasn't had the best placement on a ball in the air and it goes over the top. I mean, it happened in the Brighton game, it happened in the Crystal Palace game. And I agree with him. It is a situation where if it's Lovren, he's getting death threats. If it's Moreno, people are saying he shouldn't be at Liverpool. But again, to me, those individual players have made so many more individual errors than Van Dijk has made and probably ever will make. I think he's a better football player than both of those players, especially Lovren, if we're talking about the same position. So to call him overrated is a bit much, and it almost feels like he has some kind of vendetta. And I mean, it's not as if I think he feels like, and this is just me, and I guess clearly he was talking about the Liverpool fan base as a whole, and I think he has some good points. There are people who would never slate Van Dijk because he's Van Dijk, but if he made a mistake that Lovren makes, which again I don't think he would, the polarizing mistakes that Lovren has made, Tottenham is one of the ones that I think stand out for the most because he was at fault for at least two, if not more. So I don't see Van Dijk making those mistakes. Can he make them? Sure, he might make them. Will he? I don't know. Um, but again, it's about the amount of them and how they're affecting the game. So me personally, if Van Dijk has a bad game, I don't feel the need to hesitate to talk about that. I love Mane. He had an awful game against Brighton. I speak about it. If you play well, you get. And I think by and large, there are now. Listen, there's some people in the fan base that are just idiots, and they're gonna overdo the stick for certain players. But there's some Liverpool fans that when Lovren does well, they say it, whether it's social media, amongst each other, on YouTube. So I don't. It almost just feels like he thinks that Van Dijk is getting too much praise, and I don't think I agree with that. I do think that he needs to be held accountable when he makes mistakes. I think that's true, but there's no argument you can have since he's come into Liverpool. Our defense has improved. Now that's not just circumstance. That's because he's there. That's just the truth. He's there, and you can see that Lovren's even been better once he's played next to Van Dijk, and that's most of the central defenders. Whoever we've had play with Van Dijk, they usually look that much better than they are, and that's just my opinion from what I see. So, the article definitely jumped out at me when I heard the podcast of them speaking about it, but actually seeing the title in the article, I said, "Wow, he's overrated." And this is a Liverpool fan at the end of the day, so I get some of the things that he was saying, um, but I don't think he's overrated. I think how he's rated by most of us is pretty accurate. And it's very, very clear that Virgil van Dijk is a serious cornerstone to what we do defensively. That's obvious. All you gotta do is watch the games. Um, is he perfect? No. And I spoke about it here on this channel that sometimes he's a bit too casual, a bit too not lazy but comfortable. The one that stands out to me is in the Champions League. Now, of course, we won the game, so you paper over the cracks. But him getting mugged off by Sterling like that is one thing I don't like. But it's because the game comes so natural to him. He's so free with it that sometimes it can come across as him being a bit too casual. And so that's been my main critique of him. But yes, he makes mistakes. Um, he's been beat in the box before. We know him as a colossal guy who clears a lot of balls in the box. But yeah, I agree. He is money. He's very much so money. I'm mainly speaking about an article that was written about him. If anybody's curious, I'm not here to say that he's overrated. I'm basically not really going deep into the article, but just saying that there was a guy who wrote an article saying Virgil van Dijk is overrated, and he went into detail of what he meant by that. If you want to go check it out, please go do it, or listen to the Anfield Index podcast. But no, Van Dijk clearly has come in and he's helped us tremendously. And he's a defender, but I think all around he has been very, very good. The other thing he spoke about, which I highly agree with, is that Andy Robertson, who's so consistent. Like, some players are just so good that they're kind of just in your peripheral because you just know they're going to hold it down. If you really think about each and every game, there's not much joy teams get down that right side or our left side, him being a left defender. Not at all. And so as a defender, he's so clean. You rarely ever feel like he's going to cost you a penalty or make some kind of rash challenge or anything. And he's improving as he goes on at attacking. So Andy Bobby, I think you could easily say that he is one of the top left backs in the Premier League. And that's not even like a stretch. That's just fact. Top 3, top 2, maybe the best. Top 5 for sure. I think Andy Bobby is very much a player who goes under the radar. And I think when teams look at Liverpool, now I don't know, maybe these managers, they know football. They might go into a game and say, hey, Andy Bobby's going to be tough on that side. We got to try to, break that down. But they rarely ever do it. I mean, you think about the teams that have, good players that can come in on that right, our left, defensively. They never really get that much joy directly against him. He's not letting a lot of balls in, crosses in. Not many people are beating him man to man. So clearly he's respected, or at least he should be. But I think the world at large, when they think about Liverpool, they think about the guys who score the ball, which is usually Mane, Firmino, Salah. Occasionally a midfielder. You think about this new goalkeeper now. Hopefully they are. You think about Van Dijk, obviously Naby Keita. You think about those, but you rarely really think about Andy Bobby. If anything, they're probably thinking about how can we attack this young Trent guy. So that was another part he added into or at least on a podcast he did, and I really, really agree with that. But overall, I don't think Van Dijk is overrated. I think he's right where he needs to be, and I think he has a lot more to do as well, though, to even be a great or to be considered, a world-class defender. I think he's in and around that conversation, but I think he's got much more to do, much more to prove, much more to show, and I know that he will for Liverpool on this stage, especially in Europe. Not that he didn't do well in Europe. I think another season in Europe, a full season under Klopp at Liverpool, is really going to, I think, show that even much more. So I don't doubt that that's coming. Let me talk about Sergio Ramos. There's some footage of him collecting the Champions League, whatever award, coming down through the aisle and patting our great Mo Salah on the shoulder, and then handshaking Keylor Navas and Luka Modric. Listen, Liverpool fans need to really, really, really stop letting things get to them. Okay, this is Sergio Ramos. Is it really a surprise that he would do something like that? I mean, and even with the Jose Mourinho thing, like Liverpool fans, they get in the uproar over the silliest things, in my opinion. I don't worry about Sergio Ramos. Here's my thing. I pray to God every day that we play Real Madrid at some point this season. Or just as long as Ramos is there, that team is there. And it ain't just about Ramos. It's that whole team I want to get back at. But Ramos, sure, you want to get back at him because he's doing... But I don't get upset about him patting someone on the shoulder or saying something about Klopp never winning championships. It doesn't bother me. I don't care. And I also don't care that Salah didn't win this US because that's an individual award. It may be unfortunate for him, and what he's going through with the Egyptian FA is really, really crazy. And it's more serious than I thought. And that's another subject for another day. But I don't get excited about individual awards, and I totally don't get bothered by Sergio Ramos and the things that he does. I mean, we know who he is. We know what he does. None of this is a surprise. So, I just don't get why people seem to um, get so involved with that, so upset, and oh, see, Sergio Ramos is an asshole, he's a prick, or whatever other words that people use in England to describe a person they don't like. This is what Ramos does, and I think a lot of it is that he thrives off of knowing Liverpool fans are watching, and they're gonna whine and complain about it on Twitter, wherever. Virgil van Dijk is worth the money. Yeah, I agree. Daniel, what's up, man? Good to see you on. He's definitely worth the money and more. I think if he was to leave, I mean, I don't even speak about that, but right now on the market, he's way more than we got him for. I mean, just his presence, he's commanding. I mean, everyone is blowing the Ramos thing way out of proportion. Yeah, I agree, Harry. What's up, Mitch? Yeah, I mean, it's ridiculous. But that's what Liverpool fans. I mean, fans in general. They let these little things bother them so much, and while the person that they're bothered by is sitting home laughing, eating chips or whatever, just chilling, while we over here whining, complaining, spending all this time on Twitter, full threads, putting that video of him touching, Salah's shoulder. How do we know? I mean, that could have meant a lot of things. I know on the surface it seems like, oh, you're rubbing it in, but it might not even be that. He might be saying, touching him like, man, you if you would have stayed in the game, you could have done something with this team, or I'm sorry, man, like it could mean a lot of things, but we think right away it's him being an asshole. So it's hilarious to me. I'm gonna move on to Mignolet. I think Klopp was very measured in the press conference when it came to Mignolet. I've had thoughts about what Mignolet said, and I think Mignolet has been very, very professional up until this point, knowing the role he plays. Who's this? What up, Freddie? Good to see you, man. How's the weather out there in Cali? I must admit I was cursing his name during the final, but when time passed, I could have. Yeah, I mean, we gotta let that go, man. We gotta let that go. And again, that's not the reason we lost. I know people would say that, but it's not. If Salah still plays that game, perhaps he gets a goal or two. But does that change what happens to the keeper situation? Does it? I don't know. And we'll never know. But that's my point. Like, it's over with. It's done with. Let's make sure we're handling our business this season in the Champions League. And honestly, for me, the main goal should be the league. I want us to win the Champions League. I want us to win every competition we're in. Get as many trophies as we can. The triple, the double, the quadruple. I want to get it all. But it's the proof is in the pudding. And so, and I know the players aren't on that. I would hope not. It's more fans, but still, it's just like, let that shit go. Let that shit go. Anyway, Mignolet. So we know that he kind of spoke out about. Well, I was saying he's very professional. He's been professional even through the Karius thing. I think never spoke about it, out bad about it. People have ripped him on social media, and unlike some other players who are very thin-skinned, he didn't have this emotional response or whatever like that. He just kept his mouth shut and kept going. It's hot down there, yeah. And that's an understatement. Oh, okay. Yeah. It's been crazy up here too, man, with the humidity and everything. But at least you probably get a little bit of breeze down there. But that's why it shocked me that to see Mignolet come out with this stuff about him being disappointed and whatever. It's like, nigga, motherfucker, you knew what was going on. You know you ain't starting. You know what I'm saying? Like, and my thing is, look, it's unfortunate for him that, I mean, clearly he wanted to get up out of there. I heard Fulham, I think, or somebody in the Premier League, or I think there was a couple other teams abroad. I don't know, but play your role and shut up. And that's basically what Klopp said in the press conference. He didn't say that verbatim, but he basically said he doesn't think it's too cool for him to come out in the paper and talk. And I agree with him. I really do. I agree with him. I agree that he should have come right to Klopp and said how he felt. You don't come out in the paper and say all those other fools. And now, allegedly it was a Belgian thing, and maybe we felt trapped or whatever. Maybe he was trapped into saying that. I don't know. Who knows how that conversation went? At the end of the day, it sounds like you're bitching. You know what I mean? And like Klopp said, basically just sit and collect your money. When we need you, we'll put you in. Don't be out here whining and crying though. There are worse things. And we get it. You've been starting for most of your career. You want to be playing. We get that. Maybe you should have pushed harder for a move or something. I don't know. Maybe your agent should have. I don't know. At the end of the day, you're playing with Liverpool. It's a team that you could accomplish as a squad player some amazing things with. And it's easy for me to say I'm not on the team, I'm not in that situation. But, as a supporter, as a man, my thing is you shut the hell up and you play your role. End of the day, you shut the hell up and you play your role. You know what I mean? And I would hope, as professional as I think that he is, even though this latest outburst, I would hope that if he is called upon, he will do his job. I can't imagine Mignolet purposely doing things that aren't good for the squad because he's pissed off. But I thought Klopp was going to kind of swerve over that question, but I'm kind of happy he put it out because I think in his mind he's thinking, well, you're going public. They asked me a question about you, I'm going to say it. Now that sounds kind of petty and maybe should have been a bigger man, but I like what he said because I feel like it was kind of measured. And he also said, although he doesn't feel too cool about what he said, it's okay. You know what I mean? I think he respects Mignolet. I think he realizes how professional Mignolet has been. But I think he would have preferred, as myself, that he just kept his mouth shut and played the game. But anyway, that's my few things for tonight, guys. Not a whole lot. Just I'm buzzing about this game every time Liverpool play. I'm so irritated that this break is coming up. This is a bad time, and it's almost just like we get the Premier League, then we get it snatched away from us. So, but sooner than we know it, we'll be having a bunch of games to play. So that'll be good to see the team play a lot. So I'm excited about it. I don't believe that Leicester is our toughest test. I don't know why people keep saying that. Daniel, I prefer Karius as number 2 for Liverpool than Mignolet. A lot of people think that, yeah, because every time he never starts, he acts like baby. Yeah, goes to the newspapers and media. I didn't know if has he done this before. I didn't know that. Did you hear about Markovic? Yeah. I didn't see that comment. Sorry, Harry. And ever going to get rid of him? Are we ever gonna? Yeah. Wait. So didn't he go to Anderlecht, or was that loan? Was it loan? I thought we got like 2.9 or whatever million for him. Hi from Sweden. Thanks, Omar. What's up, Hussein? Good to see you from Sweden. Cool. Like to see new people on here. That's what's up. I read we got 2. Yeah, that's what I thought. Lost a gang of money on him. I think Rogers got him for 20. Yeah. I don't even know how he came across that way. Yeah, he has. Okay, cool. I didn't know that. I didn't know he did. So thanks for telling me that, Danny. I didn't know that. But I don't think Leicester is our toughest test. I think Crystal Palace, of the first 4 teams, at Selhurst Park, under the lights with that crazy crowd. I mean, all due respect to Leicester, that's a tough place to go as well. And we've had some not so satisfactory, history there. But to me, Palace was the hardest of the 4 games. Going into it and even, I think, playing it was the hardest of the 4 games. The move fell through at the last minute hour. Oh, did it? Wow. I didn't know that. That's news to me. I didn't know that. Wow. Okay. But yeah, I don't think Leicester is the toughest game. And I also want to talk about, to me, Leicester is not the toughest game. It'll be a good game. They have players that can hurt us. Is Vardy playing? No, Vardy's on the ban. I was confused if he got the red card in the Southampton game or the Wolves game. Does anybody know? Let me know. I want to see more Shaqiri tomorrow. Yeah, me too, Omar. Me too, man. I'm hoping we see him a bit earlier off the bench. I doubt he'll start. I still keep getting a sneaky suspicion that Hendo is going to play. I don't know. I'm happy with keeping the same 11, but I have a feeling that Henderson might get a run out. We'll see. There's been people saying Naby should sit. To me, Naby's undroppable. I'm sorry. His best game was not against Brighton, but in a away match against a team like that they're going to be compact, you don't sit Naby. I just don't see that. And people were saying we should have a midfield of Hendo, Milner, and Genie. I mean, I don't mind that midfield in some games. I mean, clearly that midfield got us through the better part, the toughest part of the Champions League, but nah, I don't see that right now. Not against Leicester right now, away from home, against a team, again, that's going to be compact. Who from that 3 is going to break down that defense? I mean, please tell me. So at least with Naby, we got a guy who can, split a pass, make some space for himself. He's very good in tight spaces. So, yeah, I think he got it against Wolves. Was it Wolves? Okay. Someone said Southampton. I didn't think that was right. But I also want to say this, because I've been saying this phrase even when we're not at our blistering best. We can still get wins. I think what I really mean is that because at Brighton, we saw some glimpses of us being at our best. We just couldn't get the goal. So there's a difference there. It's nice to get the goals, obviously, and put teams away. But we had some beautiful, and so did Brighton, to be fair. There were some beautiful passages of play between both teams, mainly us in the first half. But we couldn't capitalize. We couldn't be clinical in those final moments. So, again, people are worried about us scoring and all that. I'm not. I'm really not. I think we got to be a bit more clinical, yes. A bit more smart in the opposing team's box. But to me, I haven't seen a lack of how diverse we are and how much of a flair we have going forward with the speed and and the skill that our front guys have. So that's just me though. I mean, and people are worried about Firmino. Firmino's been very, very much a part of what we do. Him not scoring goals is one thing, but I think he's definitely been in and around with assists, and he's the goalkeeper made an amazing save against Brighton. So again, I'm not worried about any of our front three guys. Rarely are they gonna have back-to-back games where none of them are really, really setting the tone. I mean, Salah gets the goal, but there are other parts in that game where you just didn't see much from him. So I'm not too concerned. Let's see what we got here. I think he got it again. Okay, Sturridge to get a start as a birthday gift, maybe. Is his birthday this weekend, or did it just pass? I didn't know that. I highly doubt that. But and also just on the Fabinho thing, quickly. I think someone mentioned this in the last live. Let's see, Omar. This is first time in a long time I can leave the game, go to the toilet, and still won't be a goal in the back. Exactly. And isn't that a nice feeling, Omar? Isn't that nice to know that Liverpool is finally? I'm not going to jump the gun too early, but it's finally appearing that defensively we're forming a very, very solid back four. I mean, how comfortable, how amazing would it be to go before the international break and be up on the top of the table, 4 wins, 4 clean sheets. I mean, how amazing would that be? Danny, we need to start Shaqiri tomorrow because he can pick out a pass and play number 10. I don't know if I can say start, bro. I got to disagree with that. I mean, off the bench, yes. And I see what you're saying because I've said this before on this channel. He does offer that other special quality. Now, look, if he starts, I won't be disappointed. But if he starts, who sits for you? I know people have said Firmino should sit maybe. He looks leggy, he's tired or whatever. And he'll get pretty much a good rest in international because he's not the starter. He'll probably play, but he won't play nearly as much as Gabriel Jesus. I don't think he will. He might. You'd sit Milner and have... So you'd have Genie as a holding with Shaq and Naby. Okay. See, I think if Shaqiri comes in, we should do a 4-2-3-1 personally. That's me, though. Have Bobby at the top, Salah, Mane in their regular positions, and then have the two, Naby and Genie, Naby and Milner, Naby and Hendo, whoever it may be. But the Fabinho thing, I didn't really think about this. Nah, I don't, Harry. I think I was going to get into that, but I don't think he's going to play. I think Klopp will get through the first 4 games. It's kind of quarter of the season. Go to the international break. Figure out what he's got, how guys are feeling. And then, I think he'll maybe kind of slowly put him in. Kind of like what happened with Ox. Kind of what happened with... See, the only difference between that is, Fabinho's had a full preseason, which is a little puzzling for me. Ox didn't. He came into us when the season already started. We had just beaten Arsenal, and he came over that next week or whatever it was when we took that heavy L. But so it's weird. It's weird, but there's got to be a good reason for it. What I do think is that Fabinho will very, very much so feature in the Champions League heavy, especially against PSG. I say that because clearly he played in Ligue 1. He knows that team. He's done well in the Champions League against teams like City. So he's going to be a big guy for us in the Champions League, I believe. We have to accept that Shaqiri is a rotation player. Yeah, the season is long. He will start. Exactly. But when things are minimal, he's on the bench. Or normal, he's on the bench. Yeah, no, I agree with that. And he is a rotation player. But I've said that before the season started. People think he's going to sit on the bench and come off the bench every game. There will be games, trust me, that Shaqiri will start. Either as a 10, maybe as kind of like a false 9, off the shoulder-ish kind of guy. As a wing player, as an attacking mid, he'll play. He'll definitely play and start, I believe. PSG wanted him as well last season. I didn't know that. But yeah, he's prime for that first home game against PSG. Oh, man. He's going to love that. PSG just signed Choupo-Moting. Did they really? Wow, okay. So yeah, I think I'm looking forward to that. But yeah, I don't think Fabinho, again, I wouldn't be disappointed. I would be shocked, though. To throw him into an away match against Leicester. Then again, it's really just about, I don't know how deep and how intricate these, sessions are, but the managers clearly have gotten together. They've seen tape on Leicester. They know how they're going to match up against them. I don't know if Fabinho fits those tactics or that game plan. I don't know. From what I know about football, what I know about Leicester and our team so far, I can't see a need to put him in a game like this away from home. His first game to me should be at home, personally. Naby Keita's a guy who played a similar style, apparently, in Germany with Red Bull. So I don't know. What do you think about Liverpool drawing Chelsea in the Carabao? Yeah, we spoke about that last night. It's not the draw I would want, honestly, Danny. But you know what I mean. Listen. This is what playing football is about. This is what supporting Liverpool is about. You want the big teams. You want the best teams. So it's unfortunate that it's not some lower league team or some team that you would think we can walk over, I guess. But this is what football's about, and that's kind of what Klopp was alluding to. Not necessarily with the Carabao Cup, but just with this whole group of death, which is the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. I don't know if there is a group, but I don't think every competition with a group stage has to have a group of death. I think people just love saying that. They love that narrative. They love the idea of a group of death. I don't think it's a group of death. I don't even know if it's the most difficult group in the Champions League. We'll see. Danny, I'm so underrated. Yo, thank you, man. I really appreciate that. Very much. Very much. I appreciate that. I'm just me, man. I be on here I like talking about football. You know what I mean? You're never gonna hear me. I said this before, I hope this is the last time, just to make it clear. You're never gonna hear me jump on here and say smash the like button or please follow me or I'm trying to get subscribers. I just like coming on here and talk about Liverpool, whether I have 5 people watching as I do now, whether I have 9 people, 0 people, 1 person. So that means a lot to me. Thank you so much, Danny. It's good to have you. I appreciate that. But yeah, I mean, I'm not worried about Chelsea. I'm not. I mean, again, they're a team that can hurt us. But what we got to remember is we can hurt these teams too. And I hope that other people are saying, I'm looking at Napoli fans or PSG fans or red what's the team from Serbia? Belgrade. I'm hoping their fans are looking at their supporters are looking at it saying, damn, Liverpool's gonna be tough. You know what I mean? This film called Formula 51 came out in like 2001, I think. Yeah, it was a year Michael Owen had a really good season. And God, my mind is escaping me right now. I forget the other striker. Wow, the black guy. Anyway, Formula 51 came out. Samuel L. Jackson, Robert Carlyle. And in that movie, Robert Carlyle has this really beautiful, at the time I thought, and still now, a really beautiful Carlsberg, I think it was Carlsberg, but red Robbie Fowler jersey. And he goes into the bar, and there's United fans there, and they kind of get into it. But yeah, that's kind of what started my passion for Liverpool. Been watching French TV the whole day. They are terrorized by Liverpool. Yeah, they should be. They should be, and that's what I mean. It's amazing how far we've come, and I think such a small amount of time. You know what I mean? Like once Klopp has come in there, he changed things right away. People forget how well he did in that first season. Yes, we didn't finish top 4. Yes, we lost 2 cups that season, 2 finals. But we got there, and that squad. Look at that. Somebody do me a favor. Go back and look at that squad. Most of you probably already know, but for you all who don't, go look at that squad and look at the squad we have now and see how we've grown from season to season. See how we've improved from season to season. Now, we got top 4 back-to-back seasons, and we kind of squeaked it out. So that wasn't enjoyable. The nervy kind of ending to the season, the injuries, the disappointment in the Champions League final, all the disappointments in the finals, whether it was the cup match against City where they went to pins. Sevilla was a serious heartbreaker, mainly because it was going to get us Champions League, and it didn't. But mainly also just because you wanted that trophy. You wanted, and I know Europa League is not the same as Champions League, but it's a trophy. It would have been a trophy, and we've been starved for that for a while. So Liverpool have looked good to me. We can be better. Everybody can be better, really. Even the guys who've been getting man of the match. I mean, Milner. I don't know what much better he could do. I mean, this guy's been amazing. I mean, seriously, he's a guy I gotta admit that he just wasn't a player that I thought would be a big when we got him up until now. Even though he did well last season, especially towards the end of the season, he wasn't a guy that I thought would be, personally, and I can admit this, a serious component to what we did. That's just my opinion. So it's good to see that. And people are saying it's a dark shadow over these new signings we have and how good we could be this year because of Ox. I don't subscribe to that thought at all. That's ridiculous. It's very unfortunate because that's one other player that would help us and that would give other defenses that much of a headache. So, I mean, just imagine we had Ox on this team. I keep saying it, but I mean, we're already incredible, but having Ox would have just been wow. I mean, you see guys not even making it to the starting team, for these games, and it's amazing. It's amazing. So this is a lovely time right now. We gotta handle our business tomorrow. I'll be up bright and early, probably around 6:30. I might not even sleep much tonight. I'm that excited about it, but we have to handle our business. The chances that we get, it may be 5, maybe 10, it might be 20. We have to be clinical. Maybe not on all of them, enough of them to win the game comfortably. Comfortably. Thoughts on Arabs takeover? Personally, would love it to happen. Me too. Me too. Yeah, I spoke about that a couple videos ago. I was in New York to watch the Brighton game, and I met a really lovely African guy out there, Liverpool fan. Been supporting the team for forever. He's got a Liverpool membership card. Goes to a lot of the games, and he's the one who brought it to me. I didn't see it, which is funny because I look at This Is Anfield, the website, quite often, and somehow I missed that. But I would have loved it too. I mean, can you imagine that much? I think it was $2 billion. Can you imagine that much money coming into Liverpool? Unbelievable. But FSG was kind of stingy, and you can't knock them. Liverpool are doing some beautiful things, and I guess they want to be, ahead of that. I remember when clubs were making fun of us. Yep. Yeah. Listen. Yeah. Clubs were. Everybody was. I mean, because it's Milner. He's not. There's nothing flashy about him, and so. But he is a player that I think now most managers, if they're honest, they would love a Milner in their team. I'm glad we got him. Harry, players like Origi don't even get into the team anymore. Yeah, they used to start for us exactly. Yeah, that's my point. I mean, you look at that roster we had in that season, and honestly, sometimes I look back and I love Klopp even more because most managers, let's be honest, they would look at that squad and say, "Nah, I'm good." They might see Coutinho there and think, maybe I can work with him. But most managers, I think, with all due respect, they would look at that squad and say, nah. Because a lot of managers, and that's the thing, you talk about managers who do things with little, Klopp is in that category. I mean, for real, he might be the guy who's done that. I mean, give me some other names if you have them, but you think about everywhere he's gone, if anything, I don't like the whole he made a player. I don't like when people say the club or a manager has made a player. But he brought in players that no one knew about. And what are they doing now? Lewandowski, to name one of several. You know what I mean? Pochettino, yes. Pochettino, very much so. Pochettino. He's not bringing in big names or really stars. If you look at that team, there's not a bunch. I mean, they play well together. But, Son wasn't a guy that was heavily sought after. Dele Alli came through, I think, was it Wolves? No, where did he come through? It wasn't Wolves. I forgot where Dele Alli came from. But, Kane, no one really knew about him, how well he was going to do until he had that one season. MK Dons, right. And there was another team that had orange and black, I think, orange and black. I could be totally wrong. Maybe they're not orange and black. Anyway, yeah, MK Dons. So, yeah, I mean, Pochettino is a good shout. Pochettino is a really good shout. You might can throw Claudio Ranieri in there. Are they white? Okay. So yeah, I mean, that's Klopp. He's in that club of coaches who do a lot with little, and does it well. He's done it everywhere he's been. So, I'm sure that fan base thought, oh, Pellegrini's coming in, we're gonna make some signings and we're gonna be good. They're 0-3. 0-3. And they just don't look good. They just don't look good, man. I've seen clips in here of some of their games on the telly, and I'm just like, and again, it's going to take a while for them to gel, but Klopp, we got a special manager, man, and we need to be winning. We need to be winning things, and I think that can only benefit us for lots of reasons, but in my mind, mainly to keep players, so we're not considered as that selling club. We're considered a club, a destination, not a stepping stool. Because that's honestly something that I think we all are concerned about. People talking about now Mane, saying Mane's not going to stay. I'm worried about that. We don't have to worry about that if we're winning things. We take care of our players. It seems to be that way. They seem happy there. So there was a time when people didn't want to come play with Liverpool. They'd rather go to a London team. And now that's turning for me. And again, we may not be bringing in big name players on paper. There's no one that really people. Well, that's not true because Mane talked about how Man United wanted him, and a few people wanted Shaqiri, Ox even. So teams do want these players, but that's the point. We're able to get them. So, but we have to give props to Fish for giving Kloppo some time and work on a long-term project. FSG, yeah, for sure. No, you're right. But I think he earned very, very early. I really do. But you're right. We do have to give them props. And I don't really hear too many FSG people talking now. I just don't. If you do, let me know. But and I say that, but I know they're always right around the corner. I mean, Liverpool can have one loss, and FSG will come out, or the FSG outers will be, in full swing. Yeah, Danny, it's a long time coming, and I'm very, very optimistic, and believe that we will, if not two. I really believe that. I mean, this team is really showing me a lot in a very small period of time. Again, we've played three teams that we should be beating, and we did that. No matter how we went about doing it, we did it. So the tell it'll be very telling to see. Again, I don't think Leicester's our hardest team. I think a lot of you may think that, and people think that. I think Palace was the toughest game of those four. But we'll see what we do against Leicester at a very hostile environment. They love having Liverpool there, it looks like. Those players love playing against us. So we'll see that. And obviously, after the international break, Tottenham, when we play Chelsea, even Southampton could be tricky. So we'll see what this team is really made of as the season goes on, obviously. But it's very important to get these points. It's the first game of the weekend. We need to show out. We need to show out. The traveling support needs to show out. We need to really put in a good performance, a clean performance, and hopefully get a clean sheet. So I said 2-0 earlier. I wouldn't be surprised if it was 3 or 4-0, honestly, though. But I do think we'll keep the clean sheet one way or another. I agree with that. Yeah, if we get the title this year, that'll be one of the reasons why we got it, because of our depth. Could we add one or two more players? Sure, but do I feel like we're missing anything? Not really, not really. And you never know what January holds. You never know if we'll bring in something that really. To me, I forget the odds for us being top of the table in December. I think it was it 20-1. No, that didn't sound right. I forget what it was, but I think that's a real, possible reality. I think we can be top of the table by December. But it's the boys' job to really get it done. You know what I mean? Like we've got to be hungry and, as Klopp says, angry in all of these games. We have to take it to these teams. And so I plan on seeing that. I plan on enjoying getting up early and watching the game, and then being able to go to sleep after that, and have lovely dreams about Liverpool and how wonderful we will be. So I'm excited about it. I can't wait to get back on here and talk to you guys at halftime. I'll probably be on before the game because I'm really, really excited and interested about the starting 11. I do think there'll be at least one change. I don't want it to be, but I think there will be at least one change. I can't see more than one, but I would be surprised if there's not one. And I think that one will be Henderson. So we'll see. But I'll be back for the build-up for that, starting 11 prediction, get your thoughts on that. So if you're around, please join me. Join Onyx and I at halftime, and then join us again at the end, as we usually do. So, all right, peace, man. Much love to all of you guys again. Thank you for coming in, taking time out. I don't know what time it is where you guys are, but one more comment. Daniel says, Claude Puel before Mo Salah handed him an L in December. We never beat him before, so Leicester going to be hard. Yeah, no, I'm glad you brought that up. That's something I probably should have covered. Man, you're a real fan, diehard fan. Thank you. Are you talking to me or Danny? Thank you. Yeah, no, Klopp Puel is good. And again, it amazes me. He's not. Maybe he's boring, to use a term. Maybe that's what it is for people. He doesn't play necessarily that football that Leicester City fans were happy about when they won the title, which really is counterattacking football. But okay, Klopp Puel is a very compact kind of guy. He wants to be defensive to a degree, but also he wants to catch you as well. So I've always liked Klopp Puel. I think everywhere he's been, whether it's Lyon or Southampton, at Leicester, I'd be happy if I'm a Leicester fan that he's my manager. But that's me. And yes, you're right. He's done well against us. He definitely has. But did you say we haven't beaten him before? That's all I handed him. Oh, okay. December. We have never beat him before, so Leicester gonna be hard. Okay, you mean at King Power? So, but yeah, no, it should be exciting, and yeah, definitely join me if you're available, and you want to come on and talk. There's a plethora of YouTube channels you can go to, obviously, but we're here usually all the time before mainly halftime and at the end. So we'll be here. So join us. See you guys soon.